On 5. Time to get this party started. Welcome to class, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I feel like a cat in this sunspot. It's directly where I'm going to be practicing. It is my yoga mat, so I will be soaking up the sun while we're practicing today. So let's go ahead and find any comfortable seated position. You can prop the hips up if you'd like. You can use a mudra, first finger and thumb together, interlocking the fingers. Just want to be able to sit up tall and feel relaxed at the same time. So any props that are going to help you to do this, any positions that are going to help you to settle into this shape. You can rest your eyes at one point and start to focus more on your breathing pattern. Make sure you set yourself up here. Try to find that balance right at the beginning of class of softness and stability. First few breaths to have your inhalation, draw your attention inward. You're paying more attention to the physical sensation of the breath moving through the nose and the throat. And your exhalations will help to facilitate more relaxation. Noticing tension or gripping melt away from the eyes, the jaw, and the shoulders. Rib cage to expand out, front, back, and the sides as you're breathing in. As we stay mindful of the breath and any of those sensations in our body, we'll start to bring some attention now to our intention for class. And this could be something you'd like to manifest in terms of your health or well-being. It could be a spiritual aspiration you have within your own heart. As you continue to focus on that intention, take the next 3 breaths with awareness at the heart center, right behind the sternum. Palms together for the heart center. Ask to trust that our practice today supports this intention and moves it towards its fullest expression. We'll chant Hari Om 3 times together to open up the practice. Inhale. Start off on all 4s today. Many props off to the side if you're using it. Your center, shoulders, and knees under the hips. And we'll start with a simple cat-cow stretch today. So once you get yourself set up, start with the tailbone, chest, and head lifting up as you're breathing in. Start to tuck the tailbone, draw the navel back, relax the neck on the exhale. So you continue to go back and forth here. Follow through with your breath. Remember these first few exercises where we get more of a breath enhanced connection. You want to treat as a breathing exercise just as much as a physical exercise. And so if there's any unnecessary tension as you're creating a movement, maybe around the eyes or the jaw. And as that daily tension builds up in those 2 areas. We'll do one more round. Let's do one more inhale and one more exhale. Take your time, and then on your next inhalation, you can come to more of a neutral position for the spine. We'll get the knees in a little closer toward the midline. Extend the right leg back and up. Make sure hips stay pretty even. Left arm goes forward and up with the palm facing the midline. Take a full breath in here in this shape, and as you exhale, draw the elbow toward the rib cage and the knee toward the chest. Then inhale, extend the arm and the leg back out. A little lift to the chest there. As you go back and forth, tap into all those deep stabilizing muscles around the rib cage and navel. Strong upper right back. When you extend that leg back, trying to lift the right hip up higher than the left. Really focus on engagement of the glute and the hamstring. One more round. Finish up that last round. Ending on an inhale, bring that left palm and knee down. And then go ahead and switch. That left leg's going to go up and back. Settle into that hip, left hip. Right arm goes forward and palm facing the midline. Once you feel stable there, start the dynamic movement. Move a little faster or slower than me based on your breathing pattern. One last round on the side. And once you get that right palm and left knee down, get the knees, keep the knees about a little closer than hip width distance apart. And then we'll do some hip circles here. Get the right leg back and up. This other knee's going to be bent. And then when you take the hip off to the side, that hip's going to lift up a little higher than the left. When you bring the knee down to center, bring it slightly forward past the left knee, just so you get a little more engagement in the navel and strengthening that hip flexor. Then take that full circle there, hitting those 3 points. And this one, we're not correlating the breath with the movement, but you just want to make sure you're mindful of the breath and not pulling the breath in or out. We're going to stay on the same leg and go ahead and reverse the direction that you're rotating in. Last round on this side. With that right knee lined up with the left knee. Take minor adjustments here. Make sure we're reading all the fingertips or protecting the wrist. Left leg goes up and back. Off to the side. Center and slightly forward. You might find an organic connection with the breath as you're doing this, and that's the case for you. That will work. And just make sure breath stays pretty fluid. And reverse the direction on this side. And last round here. Now we'll keep the knees together, keep the feet close together, and do a slight variation here of child's pose. Now if you just got done eating lunch, maybe a couple hours ago, then you might not bring the hands into this mudra and work with the fist and belly option, but you still take child's pose. If you need to take the knees wider, you can. What we're going to do is create a mudra with the hands. So your thumb is on the inside of your palm. You're going to wrap the fingers around your thumb. And then make sure you take about an inch wider than your belly button. There's an artery there just to the left of the belly button, so you want to go a little wider than that. Feel like the upper rib cage or the lower rib cage and that front right hip point. The fists are going to fit right in between there. If you need to adjust or flatten out the hands a little bit, go ahead and do that. And then fold over the fist. Now if this creates any pain or discomfort in any way for you, you can go ahead and remove the hands or flatten out the hands. Now, unlike child's pose, we're not trying, we're not going to bring the head down, and there'll be a little bit more flexion in the spine. We're going to keep the neck relaxed. Now, with the pressure in the navel, we're getting a good massage of all the abdominal organs, bringing a lot of tension into the nabi, or this navel area. We're also bringing a little more tension and this rebounding effect as we breathe into the back body, and the kidneys and the adrenal glands live. So don't force a deep abdominal breath here, but you'll notice the back of the rib cage, the upper back, middle back, even the sides of the rib cage are getting more of the expansive quality of the inhalation. We'll take one more breath there. the heart and head up. Move the hands, if you've got that mudra, we're going to bring the hands forward slightly in front of the shoulders. You're going to take downward facing dog next. Lift to the hip. So hips get back up, you get a little free movement there. You might feel a little different in the abdominal area in this downward facing dog after that fist and belly exercise. You might find you're more aware of that lift in the navel in this posture. You also, as you're breathing in, might feel like you created more space in the abdominal wall, or in the abdominal cavity. All right, take full plank pose, top of a push-up. That's your inhale. As we exhale, this time we'll take the knees down and wide, tops of the feet to the floor. We'll take hips back in space. We get now more a little compression on the outside of the abdominal area with that ascending and descending colon lift. Take one more breath there, and on the next inhalation, we'll come forward. Shoulders will stop over the wrists. You're going to take the chest through the arms. Now keep the navel firm enough so you don't rest in the lower back. Feel like you're really lengthening the torso as you lift the heart and head up. Curl the toes back under, take downward facing dog. And we're going to do that a few more times. Just a simple exercise here to get all the joints warmed up. Then come into plank pose on your inhale. Strong legs and back. Back into child's pose. That compression the side of the navel. Relax the neck at the very end there. Coming forward. Being mindful of stopping the shoulders over the wrists, not going past the wrists. And then downward facing dog. And go at your own pace for the next 2 rounds here. So you might move faster or slower than me. Take your time. Follow through with your breath. Breath is 1 or 2 seconds longer than the actual movement. And starting to finish up that last round. We'll all be back up in downward facing dog. And get a nice one resting breath there in down dog. We'll bring the knees down next. And if you're on a yoga mat, you can turn off to the side, or you can just extend one leg off to the side off the mat. And we're going to do dynamic gait. This is an exercise where you might choose to have a block on the side of your body, opposite of the extended leg. So we're going to be coming down to this side. We just want to make sure it's not too far for us to come back up the integrity without strain. We're going to start off with that right leg extended off to the side. Body's all in one plank except for the bent leg behind us. Start off with arms sweeping up alongside the ears. Keep lower belly firm enough so we don't jut the lower front rib cage forward. Your next exhale, lean off to the right or extended leg with that other rib cage away from the hip. Come back to center as you inhale, and then we exhale and go off to the other side. And you'll notice if you feel like you're turning the chest toward the floor, or if coming up is a little bit of a strain, you might want to bridge the gap between the hand and the floor there. And go back and forth 2 more times. So 2 more toward the extended leg, and 2 more off to the other side. Take your time. Your breath, your movement. Finishing up the last round. When you do come back to center, both arms are up, then bring arms down and bring right knee next to left, and then we'll switch off to the other side. We want the knee that's bent, so have that hip and knee stacked over each other. Once you have that set up, arms go up on the inhale, lean off toward the extended leg on the exhale. Back to center. Make sure you take that moment at the top with both arms up, gaining that length on both sides. Navel's firm enough. Again, so we're not jutting the rib cage forward. Lower belly stays firm throughout, helping you stabilize. Toward our last round. back to that last side of the last round. And then you sweep that left leg forward into a runner's lunge or low lunge. And from here, chair that right leg forward. We want a pretty good angle with his back leg here. So once you get settled into this shape, make sure we're not lifting up that left hip too much. Left leg's forward. We're going to settle into the left hip and then sink down into the base of the pelvis. And then we'll do lunging windmills next. On your inhalation, you'll sweep both arms up and back. And on the exhale, you'll sweep the arms forward and down. And keeping the hips pretty stable here. And continue with those sweeping motion. The sweeping motion with the arms. Good range of motion there for the shoulder joint. And lengthening on the inhale, you'll feel a little extension. As you forward fold on the exhale, find some flexion in the spine and the neck. Last full round. Next inhalation with both arms are up. Go ahead and keep them there. And then grab your right wrist with the left hand. Lift the right ribcage away from the hip. Sink the hip a little bit more. You lifted it up. And then on your next breath in, we'll bring the torso back to center. You're going to twist now toward the left. I'll give you a couple options here. Either the right hand will be on the floor. You can extend the left leg, left hand on the thigh, or arm straight up toward the sky. If you feel prepared to get that arm across the thigh, press the palms together, stacking the elbows. Take that second variation. And then you can choose to leave the back knee down or straighten the back leg. This option. Great breathing here. Revolving side. On our next inhale, come out of the twist, fingertips to the floor. Take your right foot next to the left. And get the feet lined up, hip width distance apart. Come up halfway to lengthen. Deepen the forward fold. Exhale, take one full breath here in Uttanasana. And then we're going to switch the sides. So right foot's going to take forward, take that left foot back. Runner's lunge usually sets us up for a low lunge. Once the back knee's down, just kind of lean torso up and settle into that shape. Right foot should be settled. And then we'll sink down into it. If you need more cushion for the knee, you can double up the mat, use a blanket or a towel. And once you have this set up, we'll do lunging windmills on this side. All these muscles in the chest, the upper back, for that rotation in the shoulder joint. Last full round. Next time the arms are up, go ahead and keep them there. Grab the left wrist, little lean to the right, so that left ribcage, keep the navel and chest turned toward the wall that you're facing. Next breath in, we come out of the side stretch, and then we add the twist. Keeping that length in the torso, whatever variation of the twist you practiced on the last side, do on this side. One more breath here. Next inhale, out of the twist, fingertips to the floor. Next exhale, left foot forward, feet hip width distance. Inhale, halfway up. You're going to bend the knees generously for Uttanasana. We're going to stay here for a little while. Grab opposite elbows or intertwine the arms around each other. Now, this posture, if it feels good, for some of you, you like to do a little movement. Turning your head yes or no a couple of times. Shifting the rib cage. Stay there. Take a couple more breaths. And then relaxing the arms. And deep breath in to come all the way up. Strong belly, back, and legs. Touch the palms overhead and up into Tadasana. Take a couple resting breaths here. Take the time for observation. Make sure the knees aren't locked out. Neutral relationship with hips, rib cage, spine feels neutral. You might already start to notice some significant changes here in the condition of your mind, your physical body. And then I'll show you from this angle here. If you stay facing the front edge of the mat, bring across our right ankle in front of the left. You've done this with me in the past. Line the big toes up if you can, as best as you can. And then from here with this right leg forward, you'll find that that front hip point is going at a slight angle, but we want to keep the shoulders squared off toward the wall that we're facing. The right arm's going to go up, and then you're going to start to lean off to the left. This left arm is going to hang out and stays heavy, or if it feels good to have something more tactile, you can always reach across and have that left hand on the right rib cage. So it always gives me a nice sensation where I'm feeling that inhalation come in and expanding these areas of the body, looking to access organs on the side, deep muscles that connect, the rib cage, abdominal wall, back muscles. And on the next inhalation, we'll come out of the side stretch. We'll take the arm down and we'll switch sides. Toes are pointing straight ahead. Opposite here. Front hip point be at a slight angle, but we'll square our shoulders nice. Switch shoulders off toward the wall that we're facing. Left arm's going to go up. We're going to take a lean off toward the either placement with the hand is good. Follow through with your breath and notice how your body responds to the breath. And center on the inhale. Strong side body. Arm goes down. And then we'll unravel the legs. And then we're going to face the long edge of the mat next. So set yourself up. We're going to set ourselves up with the leg stance for triangle pose. It's really odd. Oh, it's funny. All right. And if our arms are out to a T formation, ankles would be a little bit wider than our both, just a little bit. Turn the left toes to the short edge, your right toes in. And we do a little variation here. Some of you might have done this with me in the past. Just make sure you have the same stance that you would for triangle pose. Ankle or heels are aligned with each other. Make sure this left knee is always in a track with toes. Square shoulders off. And take that lean up to the left. And I want you to have your left hand just to the inside of this leg. So we're not reaching for the shin. We're using more core muscles for stabilization here. And then that right arm is going to go straight up toward the sky. From this shape, keeping this back hip strong, we're going to twist from the waist and turn the chest toward the wall or toward the floor and touch the palms. Now your shoulders should be pretty squared off toward the floor. And you're going to go back and forth. As you inhale, open up navel and chest. As you exhale, keep that back hip, back leg stable, and face, turn the chest toward the floor. We're going to do 5 rounds. We've got 2 under our belts here. Couple things to keep in mind. When we take that inhale, right at the end of the inhale, sometimes we want to wrench that arm back. We want to move from the spine. Arm's kind of going along for the ride. Ends up just pointing straight up toward the sky. So I want to make sure on the exhale, not moving the hip or stabilizing that right hip. Let's go around here. We're going to end on an inhale, exhale in triangle pose, and then come all the way back up as you breathe in next. Hands on the hips, and switch the sides. And then make sure we get set up just like we would for triangle pose if we were going to hold the posture statically. When you got that first position, take your next exhale, check in with the right hip, the left hip, left leg bone, feeling strong. Feel that space stretch there right at the end of the exhale. And then you'll feel those same muscles around the shoulder blade get some engagement. Do 5 full rounds, take your time. Follow through with your breath. Your breath should feel like it's initiating your movement. Finish up that last round. And on an inhale, make sure you take another exhale when you're in the shape. And then inhale and come out of the shape. Get the feet parallel. Take a breather. We're going to take the feet a little wider next. From here, take the feet maybe an inch wider on both sides. All the toes are still going to point straight ahead. And interlock the fingers behind the hips for Padakadasana. Slowly into the front of the hip. Lower belly is firm. And hang out here. Keep in mind if you have more availability in the shoulders, you might have the hands lift up away from the hips. And if that's happening, just make sure you're not creating any undue stress in the shoulder joint. And checking with the neck, neck should feel pretty neutral or relaxed. Next breath in, strong legs, strong back to come up. And then a runner's lunge, facing the front leg. And then from here, we're going to take this front leg down, shin and knee, for one-legged pigeon pose. Settle down into hips. And then once you have that shape, in the lower half of the body, bring forearms down to the floor. Check in once you have your upper body feeling more supported by your arms and shoulder girdle. Check in with the lower half of the body, keeping the hips pretty even so we're not plopping down on the side of the front leg. And if you want to feel, it feels better to have a little more support, such as a bolster or block or a blanket underneath the hip, feel free to do that. And also check in with this back thigh. Oftentimes, for whatever reason, we feel like a little gripping or tightening happens there. And if you want to bring your forehead down or stretch the arms out in front, feel free to do that. Just make sure if you're taking more of your body forward, that you don't take more weight out of the hips. You want to feel like the hips are pretty heavy. We let gravity and our own body weight play out here. Do like a little gripping and relax the lower half. And as you follow the breath into the body, you might notice a little more attention getting drawn down into the lower back, hips, and leg channels. Alright, and bring the torso up. Both palms are supported. Take the body weight out of the hips. Take downward facing dog for one full breath. Even hips, even shoulders. And then we'll switch sides. Move the other leg forward, knee behind the wrist, and we'll scoot the opposite leg back. Once you get lower half of the body established, settle down the lower half of the body, or upper half of the body. Take some time, minor adjustments. Settle into whatever shape you feel you can find the most comfort and benefit from. Exhalation will help you to facilitate more relaxation, softening where you can, while keeping the integrity of the shape. One more breath on this 1, maybe 2 resting breaths there. From downward facing dog, we're going to bring the torso, shoulders over the wrists and lower all the way down to belly and thighs. And then from here, make sure the navel feels nice and long. And bring the flat of the belly onto the floor. We're going to take arms alongside the body at a slight angle with the palms down for locust pose. Engage the glutes to help float the feet above the floor. Strong back to lift the heart, keeping the palms on the floor. Draw the front of the shoulders away from each other and that squeeze in the upper back. Make sure you're not compressing the back of the neck. Instead, feeling more lengthening the front of the throat. Lower down. We're going to keep the arms alongside the body, but flip the palms up. Bring your left ear to the floor. Lower all the way down. Relax the arms, legs, hips, and shoulders completely. On an inhale, lift heart and head up at the same time. Turn your head to the other side and lower down. Settle everything back into the floor. Inhale, lift heart and head up. Chin back to center. We'll bend both knees. Grab opposite ankle, outside of both ankles. If bow pose isn't quite available for you right now or today, you can take cobra, setting up in sphinx pose, and then taking the elbows slightly off the floor. So you've got cobra or bow to work with next. Work around 3 to 5 full breaths. The breaths feel a little short when you're in bow pose. You might take an additional breath, just making sure that you're not putting yourself into any position where you can't regain a full, comfortable inhale and exhale. But in general, in our back bends, the inhalation will oftentimes be a little shorter. Shouldn't feel erratic. There should be no breath retention. Lower down. We get hands on the shoulders, curl the toes under, leave the knees on the floor, push chest and belly away from floor with a strong navel, and take hips back over the knees for quarter dog. Keep hips there, walk arms out in front, slowly allow chest and belly to move toward the floor. Maybe the forehead touches the floor. Don't force it there. In fact, I'd rather have you explore what's going on in the spine, shoulder girdle, find a sweet spot. We're not just sinking into maybe the shoulders or part of the spine that's already available and maybe even hypermobile for you. And make sure you're not jamming up the shoulders. We want to keep just enough weight moving back to the hip structure to maintain length in the spine and space for the shoulder joint. Lift the heart and head up just enough so that with the support of the right arm and shoulder, we can take the left arm under the right arm. Shoulder and head to the floor, keeping right arm supported. If there's any unnecessary tension, you can let go around the left shoulder blade. Next inhale, strong upper back. Take yourself out of that and then set up the second side. Left arm supportive, right arm sweeps underneath. And here we'll bring the knees forward, either across the ankles and sweep the feet from under or off to the side. Either way, we're going to end up on the hips with the legs extended in front. And then we're going to work with seated twists. With seated twists, remember the hips are more fixed, so sometimes to get that length that we're looking for in the twists, we want something to elevate the hips. So feel free to use a bolster block or something that gets the hips a little higher so that when you do take the twist, you feel like you get a lot of length to the spine. You take the left heel next to the right hip. Cross that right leg over the left. Remember, if that isn't happening for you, you can always put it in front of the shin. Hips are as even as possible, right? With the right leg on top here, that right hip is going to lift up a little higher. Couple options, wrapping that left arm around the right leg. Using that bind help lengthen a bit. And then also using the left arm behind us to maintain that length in the torso. And then following through the twist from the waist up through the chest. Some of you might be familiar with other binding options. Just taking the right arm, left arm to the outside of the thigh, or binding underneath the leg. If you're familiar with any of those binds and those are available to you, feel free to take those. And gently follow through with the twist in the cervical spine and the neck, letting the chin float over the right collarbone. On the next inverse, we'll come out of that twist, and we'll switch to sides. Unravel, right heel toward left hip. So left foot on the floor, settle in the hips as even as you can, lengthen as much as you can, find that bind and the support of the back arm, and then when you have that, follow through the twist on the exhale. And once you have all of that, just notice how with the bind around the leg, you got that right arm holding that left leg in place. Notice if you can let go of any tension around your left hip now. You'll notice maybe a little bit of a drop. It's not necessarily going to be a gross movement. You might feel like there's some space that's getting created. There's a softness that's there. So remember, anything that's being bound in a yoga posture is the part that typically is going to have more relaxation to it. Any part that's doing the binding is going to have more of like an active sensation to it. Follow through with that cervical spine twist. And inhale, come out of that twist. Alright. Extend the legs out. If you're on the mat, you're going to bend the knees, get the hips forward, and then come on to the back next. You settle onto your back. You're going to set up like you would for a bridge pose. So your feet are hip width distance apart and parallel like railroad tracks. And the feet are pretty close to the hips without touching the hips. Arms are going to be alongside the body, the palms down. And once you settle into that shape here, engage the glutes, so lift the hips up. Feel strong hamstrings, glutes, and muscles along the spine, as well as the upper back muscles helping to support your body weight. So you shouldn't feel any undue stress in the neck. All through the breath. And on the next inhale, we'll lower down. And then legs close together, bring knees into chest. Straighten out the legs, find a bind behind thigh or calves or feet, depending on the availability that you have. You can also bend the knees here a little bit, of course. But make sure you're not lifting the head or shoulders away from the floor. Hold here, Supta Paschimottanasana. I'm going to give you a couple of options from here. Once you release the legs, you can come back down into bridge pose. You can have a one-legged bridge. You can keep being bent or legs straight. 4 breaths on each side. Come down and rest between sides or shift while keeping the hips up. This will give you feet over hips, hips over heart, heart slightly overhead. Give you that inversion there. Plus, if you're practicing shoulder stand, feel free to take shoulder stand. If you're supporting the shoulders and the arms with a standard folded blanket, make sure you take your time, there's no rush. Just keep in mind that if you're using a blanket, that the head is off of the blanket and that you want the blanket to support both the arms, elbows, and the shoulders. So the rounded edge of the blanket will go right to the top of the shoulders. So one-legged bridge pose or shoulder stand, your choice. 4 breaths with each leg up, anywhere between 7 to 10 full breaths in Sarvangasana. Check in with your breathing pattern. When we're in inversions, it's another position in space there. The breath can feel like it shortens a little bit, but for here, particularly the inhale, so get the organs, bring some pressure into the diaphragm. So maybe a little more effort into the inhale just to ensure that the breath doesn't get too short. But a nice longer exhalation with inversions are part of the benefits. Finished up both sides for your one-legged bridge pose. When you're ready to come down from shoulder stand, take your time. Once the spine, hips are back down, then bend your knees, the soles of the feet now mat distance apart or wider than your hips, and with the knees falling toward each other. We're going to meet up here and take a couple resting breaths. Take arms out to a T formation, palms lift up. Let both knees, legs fall off to the right. If you want a little more weight on the left leg, you take your right ankle on top of that thigh. We'll lift that up, turn the head to the left, bring the head back down. Soft gaze goes toward that left thumb. Take some inventory, letting go of any unnecessary tension on eyes, jaw, shoulders, and arms are heavy and relaxed. Taking the attention down the spine all the way into that left hip. Unbind the leg first before you inhale and bring everything back to center. You might have to make minor adjustments here with the hips and rib cage. Get everything back in the midline before taking the second side. The knees fall off to the side. Left ankle possibly on top of the right thigh. Lifting the head, turning the head to the right. Settle into that shape. Free breathing here. Take some inventory from the eyes down to the jaw, shoulders, arms, all the way down the spine, now into the right hip. One round, back to center. I feel good to have the legs together, bend the knees over the hips, hands on the knees, and then use your arms to move the knees into a circle. So we get this final massage of the muscles around your lower back, hips, and sacrum. Maybe 3 to 5 times in each direction. Go as fast or slow as is comfortable and feels good to you. And with the knees slightly up toward the shoulders, take a breath in through the nose and a nice long exhale through the mouth. Once you release that bind, you can take a moment to observe and assess if there's any other simple posture movement you feel would bring further compensation into your body, or if there's any way that you set yourself up for corpse pose, something under the knees, something over the eyes. Go ahead and set yourself up for that. And we'll meet up in a comfortable position for corpse pose. Take your time to set yourself up. Continue to settle in. Letting all the muscles and the bones give in to gravity. Stay receptive to all that's within your highest good in regards to healing and resolution. The time that we have here in corpse pose, there's nothing to do, there's nowhere else to be. There's nothing to do, and there's nowhere else to be. breaths in. Time. Deep stretch from the sides of the body, eventually rolling off to one side and taking a breath or two there. As you get settled in a comfortable seated position, you can have the fingers interlocked and have the thumbs touching, the arms resting on the thighs. Relax your eyes internally or at one point externally. Start to focus on the breath, move to the nose and the throat. Counting the breath to yourself and create a 6-second inhale and a 6-second exhale. 6-second breath in and a 6-second breath out. Choose to stay with that version of Samavriti. If you'd like to add breath retention to that technique, you can take anywhere between 2 to 6 seconds internal and external breath retention. Just keep the internal and external breath retention the same count and make sure that it's comfortable and it's at a length that is sustainable for you for the remainder of the practice. pattern. Maintain some awareness on not only the breath, but particular awareness of the space between your inhale and exhale. In particular attention to that moment or space between inhale and exhale. Next inhalation, allow your attention to drift outward. More space and sounds around you, and as you exhale, feel the support underneath you, with your body weight settling into spine and hips. Move the palms together in front of the heart center. We'll take a moment for reflection and gratitude. Anything that moves through our hearts and our minds, we'd like to acknowledge and give thanks for. Seal the practice by chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all beings, without one exception, know peace and be released from suffering. So it is, and so it shall. So open the eyes. Alright, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Have a great day or evening, depending on when you're practicing with me. Thanks for joining me live, and I'll see you next time.